when Jesus was living in the book of John chapter 14, he said, my peace I live with you, not as the world giveth. So definitely he lived behind enjoying that peace because something is missing. We are lacking fathers, and that is the reason why in Genesis chapter 17, after God had been dealing with Abraham, he got to the time he said, Abraham, now I want you to move to the peak of that pyramid. You are no more Abraham, you will be called Abraham, because I have made you father of nations, of being a father, because he knows that as a father you have many responsibilities that even time may not allow us to exhaust them. He has mentioned one, and our Lord Jesus Christ, when he was teaching the disciples of who and who should be our role model as father, I have referred to Father Abraham. There's a lot to learn from Father Abraham. Another one that Jesus Christ gave us is when he was introducing God to us as our father in the book of Matthew
you discover that the problem of A is different from the problem of B. So when it comes to mentoring people, the effort you put into mentoring some people will surpass the effort you put into mentoring others. Some came from backgrounds that have you raised them to a particular level. Some don't even have background at all. So it makes it difficult putting it on a scale, general scale. But this is what I've come to observe. Those coming after us, or those looking for, up to us, they get trained better through observation. When we reflect what we teach, people respond better. So by extension, I would make a shout out to leaders out there, fathers now out there, that in our capacities as leaders, people mentoring people, those who see us as fathers, we should be more emphatic about, or we should be more conscious of leading by example rather than leading by speaking on platforms. It works to a very large extent.
And the maturity mindset of our brothers, as you have observed,
well, maturity mindset, I think we are improving by the day. I would say we are improving. We are not there, of a truth. We are still very far away. And I will tell you why. Let me go this route. There is a trending issue now, let me make a little digression on whether to use tattoos or not to use tattoos. Please, are we there? It's a trending issue. And sometime last week, someone picked me up on that and said, "Brother, what do you see to this?" I said, they are discussing it because they are babies. Some things don't call for discussion. At this level, I should now come out and start saying, tattoo, it is biblical. It is not biblical. No, it shouldn't come out in a Christian discussion, because we have surpassed all of that. You see, if you grow people very well, properly, in a church setting, common sense of ethics will tell you that whatever you carry speaks volume to the people listening to you. So if I now come here now and I start to tell you tattoo does not matter, when I put on studs it does not matter, if I don't comb my hair it does not matter, and I want to influence people, that tells you I don't have any background at all, no foundation at all. So the people you have around today are people who still discuss all these petty issues. It is too petty to discuss. So that is to tell you the state of mind of the people we have had there. So we have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. So someone that has been well groomed will not come up and start debating. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No. Those matters are not faith based. They are too petty. So it's a reflection, it's a show of the mindset and the mentality that our people carry. So we have a lot of work to do without covering anything. We have a lot of work to do, and we must be very intentional about it.
Please clap your hands for the submission.
Thank you for your time, but I have this question because I want to ask this. Because there are some of us sitting down here that we've not really shoot the nail at the head. What are the foundations that I must start having so I can accelerate in that pyramid? I am an engineer and I believe in foundations. It's what carries the building. So what are the foundations of those things that I must start doing now? Like that you said, you might be 32 and still a boy. Yes, sir. Some of us are 40 and we're not even yet a boy self. So what are the foundations that I must start doing so I can accelerate in that pyramid, sir?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There is a mandate of God for all fathers in the family unit. Fathers, they have a serious work. That is why we must build fathers. When God was talking to Abraham, in Genesis 17. God really meant it when he said, you are now going to become father to nations. Because the plan of God is not for a particular tribe, it's for the whole world. And every nation must have a father figure they must look up to. A father figure that will give them instruction. Look at the testimony that God gave about Abraham in Genesis chapter 18 from verse 17. God is about to do something to destroy the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. And God is not saying, can I keep this from Abraham? Because I know that Abraham will become a big nation. Abraham will be blessed, the whole world will be blessed through him. And I know, I'm assured that Abraham shall command his household. God was giving a testimony about a man. He said, I know Abraham. He will command his household to follow the ways of God, to honor his statute. God was sure of Abraham. You know, because God knew that it will take a father to reproduce another father. That is why we must have fathers. God knows that it will take a boy to reproduce a boy. It will take a man to reproduce a man. So fathers can only reproduce a father. So that is why there is a mandate for all fathers that are existing. The minority of them that are existing, they have a duty, to produce themselves so that we can have more father. And God said, I know that Abraham will do this, because Abraham himself, for him to become a father, what are the things that he did? He had a encounter with God. Do you understand? So, and the reason why we know that he had a encounter with God is when God told him in Genesis 12 that Abraham, I want you to leave your people and go to a land I will show you. What did he do? He never lingered. Immediately he stood and went on the journey. So for us to know how committed Abraham is to God and how committed God is to Abraham, there is, I am there. If Abraham is anywhere, he can discharge all duties of a father. That is the confidence God has in Abraham. And that is the same confidence he wants to have in all men who are ready to ascend to that. So it is Abraham that is a father that knows how to make other fathers. Isaiah 51 was telling us, he said, those of you who are after righteousness, only I want to give you an example of somebody you must look up to. Only look at your father Abraham and Sarah that bear you. He said, look at your father Abraham. So God was confident in what Abraham can do, that Abraham can reproduce himself. What God wants from you is for you to reproduce yourself. When he was talking in Malachi chapter 2 from verse 13, and when God was saying, you are crying, your prayers are not answered, you don't know why. Because you have been unfaithful to the wife of your youth. Because he is a complete part of you, so that you can give birth to godly children. Because God wants us to reproduce. So a father can only reproduce a father. That is where we have the problem. A shepherd can only reproduce a shepherd. A shepherd may not be able to reproduce a father. We have matron in our churches. Why do we have them? Because not all shepherds are father. Because not all shepherds are father. So we need somebody that say, holy sure. He's a shepherd. If he are sent to the realm of a father, he may not need a patron. But how many of our shepherds are operating at that level? Not many. There's nothing bad. Face your calling and let somebody be the father. But it's good when you are a shepherd and you are also a father. Look at how many problems you are going to solve. Look at how many fathers you are going to reproduce in that particular parish. And it will be very easier to handle responsibility of founding another parish to those people, because when they get to the new place, you will not believe what they can do in winning souls, accommodating people, because that is one of the things a father can do. A father have a big heart to accommodate all, accommodate their goodness and their nonsense. A father accommodate that. Is that not what we do with our children at home? When I carry my child on my lap and she wee on my lap, will I kill the child? I must accommodate. I must tolerate. That is what a father does. A father will not want to kill you, will not want to destroy you or throw you away. He will always accommodate your excess and your shortcoming. So that is what it takes. The little fathers we can identify, we just have to pin them down and let them begin to do the work. Okay, we have noticed this is one of the few that is available. Let us rally around this person so that he can join hands with us to produce other fathers. And let me digress a bit and congratulate the mentoring forum, because it is an area of need in the church now to have a body that will be mentoring people, to become fathers. Do you understand? It is highly needed in the church of this day to have a body that will be mentoring people, tailor them, so that they too can grow up, at a fast speed to become fathers. So it takes a father to reproduce a father, and for a father to reproduce a father, he must have start from our Father, Jehovah Almighty, who Jesus introduced to us in Matthew chapter 6, our Father, who art in.
Evangelist Kuridisa, you said the father must lead with love and wisdom. Now, let's bring it down to a person, like a brother that is not yet, let's say, married. Understand? I said he must have an accommodating heart. We know that, but that's two words that you put together. Can you help us break it down?
Thank you. Let's come to the issue of our father Abraham. You see, before the Lord will equip you, before the Lord will send you on an assignment, He will first equip you. Before Abraham gave birth to at first, and you discover that in Genesis chapter 11, we're made to understand that it came from idolatry, pure idolatry. In Genesis chapter 12, the Lord told us about Abraham. Abraham gets out of this place, this place, this place, three places in one. Genesis chapter 12, 1 to 3. And the journey continued. And in virtually every step that to any nominal brother who intends to graduate into fatherhood sometime in future, he must start now. And that brings me to a Chinese proverb that says the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step back from home. So the first thing is that you must be able to identify with the pattern of God. What is God instructing you to do? Or what do you intend to do for posterity? Posterity starts with your own children, immediate children. You must be able to fashion pursue, as Habakkuk chapter 2 says. So in Abraham, the Lord said, you will become a great man. Your children shall be this. They shall be like the dust of the field. They shall be like the stars in the sky and all of that. And at every step, the Lord was instructing Abraham. Not only was He instructing Abraham, He was leading Abraham, and Abraham was following Him. At some point, he said, you will no longer be Abraham. Then I will add this, the father of many nations. And it continued. Later, Abraham gave birth to Isaac. We understand the situation that Abraham was now. Let us consider Abraham went that route. Abraham failed in that route. And when he went to meet God concerning, God said, go back to her. She won't no advice. And it went all through like that. But it got to a stage after Abraham had given birth to Isaac. Then Abraham started to teach Isaac what the Lord had started with Abraham in Genesis chapter 12. Every boy or man who intends to come into fatherhood must look into that. Virtually everything that God took Abraham through, Abraham instituted or invested in his child. Let us look at Genesis chapter 22. In Genesis chapter 22, there was an instruction to Abraham. Abraham, go and make an offering or a sacrifice unto me. And as they journeyed with his son Isaac, do not forget the Lord had instructed, or God had instructed Abraham, that sacrifice will be that your boy. Your boy is the sacrifice that you're going there to offer. But Abraham did not tell his son. But because the son had been schooled in the chapter 22, he was equipped enough. He had been training, mentoring, leading his own child with love and wisdom. So when Isaac too will grow up to become a man, do not forget that Isaac followed after the pattern of his father. So every aspiring young boy or man who intends coming into fatherhood must be able to sit back, give in to the training of God, so that we'll be able to chart the pattern of God for posterity.
Thank you very much, sir. Another question before I go to there is something like that is called pattern. Like you said, Abraham followed after the pattern Isaac followed after the pattern of Abraham. Now, you said something about the home the other time. If